not just 3 hours. I have 30. I've been here since 11:30 this morning to cast my vote. But up until now, I have not been able to do that. You can see the crowd in here massively. I understand over 700 of them that came, 800 of them that were here since 7:30 this morning to cast their vote. And probably, I understand, maybe about 20 have been able to do so up until this hour, which is almost 4 p.m. The close of voting. I don't even know, even if you put electricity here, at the rate at which the machine is going, maybe one person per hour, I'm not sure you'll finish even till tomorrow. So it's quite very concerning, quite frankly. And what is happening in my own polling booth here seems to represent largely the pool of the report that I have gotten around the state. Several places, a few places, I understand, they say it worked relatively well, but in a vast majority of the places around the state, it just hasn't worked well. I understand some people have now, over the last 30 minutes, in some few polling units, randomly across the local government, because I'm in touch. I haven't left here since 11:30. I refuse to leave. I've got to stay here and I must cast my vote. But I won't jump the queue. I'm not going to jump the queue and then be one of those privileged 20 to vote. No. These people, these elderly women, some of them in their 70s, some in their 80s, have been here since morning. And they can't get to vote. Several have left. I've seen hundreds of them walk home. Because, of course, they can't sit here all day going. So I've just seen the release by the INEC resident electoral commissioner talking about the extension, namely that if you are here if you are here by 4 p.m., you will still be allowed to cast your vote. That's fair enough. And there is also implicit in it, my own understanding, that there is a possibility of extending the voting time through to tomorrow, possibly. And I want to believe that this must be one of those places where the voting time must be extended. And then indeed, around the entire Ethiopia, just hasn't worked. I learned maybe 2 polling booths, quite frankly. Yeah, 2 polling units that I understand there was some, measure of voting. But the other 15 polling units, the other one over 1,000 people, the other one hundreds, you find people here all over. It's just difficult for people to vote. So this is not, it's not talk. You were here when I addressed you about 12 noon, and that was after I had waited for 30 minutes. And now it's almost 4 p.m. I was sitting here because I have to sit with them. I am a voter, first and foremost, before being a candidate. So I have to be in the queue. And with all these people who have come before me, I have to wait for them to get attention. And until they do that, then we wouldn't vote. I wouldn't vote until they vote, because they came before me. Having said that, the other thing is, I think the fundamental failure is that of the technology, quite frankly. The REC also acknowledged some logistical challenges in terms of deployment of INEC staff to some polling units that were unable. Either they absconded today and thereabout, and ill training for some of them, probably who were drafted on emergency. And this BVAS machine, I think for those who are going to operate it going forward, we really need training. I mean, these personnel need massive training, massive training. And we've got to think through the communications network. Because some places they were able to connect them via the hotspot, and then some places you connect, it doesn't work because the connection, the installation, the update of the software is dependent on access to the internet. And where the internet is epileptic, then there is a fundamental problem. So,
are we saying the deployment of this technology is premature because
no, I wouldn't say that. I want to believe, I always like to give people the benefit of the doubt. I'm not quick to be dismissive and say, no, maybe they didn't do enough homework, they didn't do that and so on. I'm pretty sure that must have been, if I look at the quality of the leadership at INEC, that's really star-studded team. They must have thought it through. Probably some hitches or glitches here and there, but I think, quite frankly, we need to think through quite a couple of things, especially access to the internet, and in some locations, as it were. And yes, training and skills for those who operate it. Because you don't need to have this, if it stops working, you have to go and get, before you call for a technical assistant, it's the next 1 hour before you have access to a technical assistant. And then the guy comes, fiddles with it, then it accredits another 5 voters, goes bad again, you have to wait another 1 hour for somebody else to come. So, but if those who operate it have all the technical skills to be able to, switch and turn, as it were, I think that will be helpful. I understand some places that it actually went very well. There were no glitches. A little bit curious, especially with that of my, because I was calling to find out what is happening in my, if you are running for this and you have this kind of situation, you will be interested to know what is going on in your opponent's own ward and catchment areas. And a little bit curiously, it seems to be working or to have worked smoothly in some places, including Oga, so to speak. I haven't got from the report we've got into our people. Voting seems to have gone on seamlessly in most of the polling booths. They have even counted, finished voting in many of the polling booths and results already known. But here, we're still struggling. You can still see the resilience of these people. The resilience of these people. The old people. Look at them. Look at their age. Look at them. Look at them. Since 7:30 this morning, they have been here. They trudged out in their hundreds, but they can't vote. But they insist that they must vote because they want their votes to count.
Just one person editing his own
It's, you raise a fundamental question. If you have over 700 persons here and you have only one person doing the accreditation with one machine that is epileptic, functions, accredits 2 persons, packs up for 2 hours, accredits 1 person, packs up again. So that's the, maybe I would have said, well, we've been targeted. If I didn't get this report, from around the whole state, and especially in a major stronghold, especially in places of a major stronghold, the thing seems to have packed up, literally, as it were. And but again, as I said in the morning, I'm a die-hard optimist, and I want to believe that in the end, the system will deliver. If they're extending that to tomorrow, I'm sure these people will be back here to vote. If they're extending it to whenever, these people will be back here because they want to vote. And we want technology that enables all eligible voters to vote. I want to be governor, but I want to be elected legitimately with the votes of the people.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.